All right, back for take two. Ooh, are you ready, babe?
Are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We're gonna roll with
So
it.
are we?
You have now joined the Eight Couple Podcast Show. Let me introduce our hosts, Laura and Xavier.
Woohoo!
Guess what, guys? It is...
And gals.
Oh, and gals. God, my goodness, I'm gonna get hit so hard now. Anyway, Happy New Year! It's coming up really soon. I tried to save myself. I did.
I know. Anyhow, so today we are going to bring to you our top 5 for bad tech news things that have happened in 2018, and then our top 5 good things that we have
AKA
had.
the It Couple's top 10 best and worst. I'm gonna try to label it that. If I can remember.
Yeah. But either way, so, we these are not necessarily all around, like,
Yes.
Everybody, there are our opinions. But,
And there were many things that we excluded from this list.
Yes.
And also want to let you guys know.
Mostly negative stuff, because a lot of negative stuff happened apparently around the tech world.
Oh, this was a bad year for tech.
I know, we had a hard time finding good stuff.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, also, I just want to put this out there. This is our take 2. Just to add on how hard this year has been. We've had to record this twice.
This episode.
Yes, this episode. But
it's not the first time something like this has happened to us, though.
No. If you listen to a few of our recordings, we've had some mess ups. We still have growing.
We're still
things.
very new.
Yes, but thank you so much for sharing part of your holiday with us, or enjoying the holiday with us, and in general, thank you so much.
Yep.
But you know what? I think it's time to get the people what they want. They want to know about this top 10 list.
All right. So we're going to start with the top 5 negative or bad,
Yeah, going in no particular order.
Yep. Nope. No particular
Whatever
order.
one you feels like triggers you the most, then we're just going to say we agree with you.
Yep.
That was horrible. That was completely unnecessary. Starting off starting off the list.
Yep.
Apple's right to repair. That has been a big issue. And something that, has touched me personally. Not literally, but has touched me personally because I do repair, devices, laptops, PCs, and yes, cell phones too, mobile devices, and plenty of other weird things you can imagine out there. And for a lot of people, what they kind of imagine is you go to a repair guy, you bring your stuff, you fix your problem, you leave happy, good to go.
Hopefully.
Now, imagine if you bring that product, but that product doesn't want to be fixed. They want to either be the sole proprietor so they can fix it, even though I may be right next to you or I'm cheaper than their service. And it's a way to kind of compete in a weird level. They're going to block us out. We may know exactly what's wrong and even know why we can't repair it. But having products out there that are especially designed in a certain way to prevent, your next door neighbor, your tech or other people to kind of fix a device makes it so they can make a monopoly on repairing. And imagine if your car did that. Actually, there's a tractor company that has that exact issue.
Oh, yeah?
They have to pay a certain, there's like an alarm going off. There's also a YouTube video made by, what is his name? Something Ruins Everything. Adam Ruins Everything. And it's a true story. Yeah, he, in order for this small repair that had an alarm continue to go off on his tractor for over a year. And, there's people who know what they need to do, but they can't legally touch it because the company's not wanting you to touch it. But you bought the truck or you bought the phone.
Yep. I mean, we live in a world where, America, capitalism has been a thing. And a huge part of the what drives capitalism is competition. That's what is supposed to show the market what is working. That's supposed to be where the ups and downs of the economy, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I got a shiny cube. Hey, look, I got a new shinier cube.
And the crazy part is monopolies are supposed to be illegal, but there are some that have found ways to get around it. And so anyhow, this has been, like you said, this has been something that's been talked about for a while. But this year we found that in Norway, Apple actually lost a lawsuit over the right to repair. So, pretty much now, a third party, repair person can then repair the Apple products where before they couldn't
And
necessarily
similar
legally.
to your Legally Blonde reference, there is little blood in the water, and the sharks will
That's
approach.
the musical one.
Yes. But I think that's that's a signal to kind of for other people like, yeah, fight for this. This is your right.
Yep.
I shouldn't have to be beholden to someone else to fix something that someone else bought.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why this was on our negative side, because technically I guess it's a positive.
It's a positive that they win, but it's a negative that
it's a negative for them, I guess.
because Apple's really big, and
Yeah.
and then they get a little bit bigger or
Well, this year they did hit for quite a few months. They hit the 1 trillion,
Yes.
company or whatever, but they're back. They
went back down.
Yeah.
That Apple new phone isn't quite fooling people the way they
It's
want.
a tablet.
Oh, that's another thing. Okay, you know what? Let's throw this out there. If you have not seen, just look up Bengate tablet. This the new
Apple.
Bengate tablet. Now, the original Bengate on their phone was pretty bad. You had this one guy, burly guy, just kind of easily just flex the phone backwards. You may have seen this, came out years ago. This guy treats the tablet like it's paper. It was amazing. He just this like origami the iPhone tablet. The tablet costs about $2,000.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot.
Yes. I mean, imagine you buying something that costs, let's say with 3 zeros in there. And then, I don't know, it comes out, like you get it out the box and it's bent. Now, I'm not saying that there's kind of like a side story. That's an actual thing that's happening.
Yep.
You will get it out the box pre-bent for you. Like, don't worry about Bengate. We've already bent it for you.
Right?
That's exactly what you wanted, right? Like, no. And then they came up with their statement saying that, oh, this is how they were designed to be. And we've heard excuses from Apple before. Okay, I've owned an iPhone, this full disclosure, but I haven't been a fan of it's not about being a fan. It's about looking at the good thing and right thing to do. And I find way too often that as big as this company gets, as soon as they make a lot of money, they really turn around and do some really scary stuff.
Yep.
And that's it for that one. And that was just starting us off.
Yep. And so next on our list for our top 5 negative,
Number 4.
we did say in no particular order, but yeah, you are very big into the numbers.
Because I want people to follow, because here's what I would be afraid of. They get to the end, how many bad ones did they say? And they kind of forget. So this is a way they can kind of go back. Oh, when they say number 4.
Right. Number 4. Anyhow, so YouTube beat their own record on their own platform.
Yay!
For the most disliked video with, as of recording, 14 million dislikes.
Now, this may seem like a positive list because it's
the other one by Justin Bieber had 9 million?
It's 6. I think it was. No, you're right. It was 9 million.
Yeah,
9 million.
So they beat it by a lot.
Yes. So this may seem like it should be in the good list, but this is really in the bad list because for people who are content creators, or if you've ever edited a video before, no matter how simple it is, there's a lot of steps to include on it. And even with my little editing that I do,
It'll be like a movie that goes and bombs in the box office or something like that after they spent a bunch of money, So it's a negative.
Yeah, all that effort and time, and then and YouTube has so many ways of just going, we don't care. We're YouTube. You just kind of hope you win the lottery ticket.
Yeah, there's sometimes where these companies think they're too big to fail, but nobody's too big to fail.
Exactly, and I think this is the way. This is hopefully, and this may not be. This is a shot in the dark.
But they'll learn from it.
Well, you hope, and there's so many examples of it just not happening.
Yeah,
but it's shows you that's how upset the community is. Why am I working so hard? Maybe, and I think this will eventually happen, and I've kind of seen it happen slowly. A lot of the creators I used to watch just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's going to still happen. You're still going to have your big hits because it's still working for them. But a lot of people they're tired.
It's changed though from when it first started to now. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they have to. The YouTube has to continue to listen to the people, otherwise. Because it's not just about the advertisers. Yes, the advertisers are a big part of it because, you don't make money without them. But, they also have to remember they're content creators. You will have nowhere to put those ads if you don't have content creators.
Now, if you haven't seen the video and you're still listening to what we're talking about and you're kind of confused, go
to YouTube Rewind 2018.
Yeah, and then try to find the real one. Like it can be a challenge. But here's the one thing.
It's the one with 14 million plus dislikes.
you can't miss it. You can't miss it. One thing I think I have to say about those situations is that what you will see is YouTube's attempt to make a commercial without fully understanding their own product or not really reviewing their own year. They want to show just what they want you to see of them. And it comes off for a lot of people who've been on this platform for years as a slap in the face. And I think that is why it gets the 14 million dislikes, because there's a lot that happened that, that they just hit underneath the dark.
Yeah,
Thanks to Jaden, we got little references there.
Yeah, when you look at the idea of what a rewind is, not even just YouTube's rewind, but anything, when you're looking back, you usually look back at the top. What made the news? What was talked about the most?
How many people did you recognize from that?
What impacted the most? Not many. And that's what they didn't do. They didn't put in the stuff. I mean, whether it's good or bad, whatever, if it impacted that community, it should have been a part of it. But either way. So now on to number 3.
Number 3.
Yes, in our bad list. And so this one is about the GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation that happened over in EU, which is Europe. So pretty much this one was that it was a law that was put into regulation to help with data protection and privacy, which is an important thing.
Yes.
But the way that they went about it kind of wasn't really great for a lot of businesses and anybody pretty much with a website or presence on there. So
pretty much just imagine, I guess, for the first time I explained, I think I did a not so good job, but kind of imagine that you have someone who's going to protect you. They don't know who you are or anything like that, but they're gonna be your bodyguard. So all of a sudden this bodyguard starts beating up your friends and people you like, your family members. That's kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect. They have the good intention, but they're aiming at they're aiming at everything. So and this could really have consequences to people's dollar, and has affected people's in dollar. And this is still relatively new. I do hope that the EU definitely comes back strong. I think they will. The people still have a voice there, even though sometimes the powerful just has a way of just bending those wheels like a Thanos snap. But
we have our examples in America too, so
yes,
which we are coming to. Anyhow, so which leads right into our number 2 spot, and that's
Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Yes, many of you might remember when Mark Zuckerberg went before Congress.
In fact, I'm wondering if because I don't know how people would miss this meme. This was everywhere. I mean, his face was, we normally stick to YouTube and you stick to social media, which, isn't everything. But imagine if you just didn't have internet, or I guess that's the only way you could have kind of missed what this. Well, I mean,
even if they're not big up on memes or anything like that, it was talked about in the news, you could have gone to any news channel and you would have seen clips of it. So it was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a big thing.
But a lot of people are confused about it. They just know that a lot of old people have no idea what technology is. And, what I was trying to say last time was that 87 million people had their information pretty much given to someone else. Who?
Facebook users. Yeah, exactly.
Facebook users, yourself probably. And, it's shared amongst other people. And the best reference I have for that is imagine your ID card, whatever your card you use from what country you're in, that's your personal identification. And going into a local store and seeing that card for sale. Then leaving and then seeing your card at the gas station. And then at, let's say, I don't know, the hot dog shack, if that's a thing where you're from. But, your information has been taken to a reseller, and to anybody who's out there could do what they want to for the right price or for free. They have the right to do, not the right, but the will to do anything if they have it.
Yeah, well, and they have no consequences really either.
Yeah.
Which, is there are pros and cons to policing the internet. But really, like, if we didn't have any laws at all in our physical world, it would be like crazy. It's crazy even with laws.
Yeah.
So imagine what it would be without it, and that's what the internet, it's a
very
digital
much the
world.
Wild West.
Yeah, it's a digital world that it has like no laws, really, no boundaries, and
the sheriff is blind.
yeah,
It's Wild West.
deaf.
Yeah, exactly. They're not listening to people either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
which brings us to our next point about maybe not even just blind.
These top three really kind of lead into each other, don't they?
You can tell kind of what was really hitting home for us this year.
Yeah.
This one, and there's no way it could not be on our list.
Or number one, and number one on our worst list for sure.
Net neutrality coming to an end.
Yep.
And it really, I mean, this is a pain in the butt. I mean, everybody out there that I can think of, know of, was in support of this. This was loud.
Even my dad, who he doesn't really, he was like very much against this.
People have dads, they understand.
Yeah.
People have dads. But yeah, even your dad understood that the internet neutrality issue about protecting our internet freedoms on there and not leaving beholden to the other big companies who hold the internet hostage, like nearly 3 companies. The fact that he got that much, it was very important.
And yet somehow our Congress and our government didn't get that.
Yeah, they knew the people didn't want it.
No, yeah, they pretty much ignored a vast majority of people, and that's horrible.
And I can see that there's people that's not working in the field and they're shouting oh, it's not that bad. But you have experts and teachers, experts, all speaking no, that's a bad idea.
Well, and then pretty much there was a majority where they were very much no, this is not this should not happen.
Yeah, Agify this decided
and it's
on his own.
Yeah, and we still live in a democracy, and yet somehow they weren't listening to us.
Yeah, and just to be giving people that much power that can't take the time to get the basic understanding to regulate the thing that they are in power over is ridiculous. But in a way, that's not too surprising that we've kind of gotten to this area where we've gotten comfortable with having the people, or I guess the leaders of the old, just kind of continuing on in their traditional fashion, thinking that the same ways will still keep us protected and not thinking that the world updates around them.
Yeah. It's been a constant problem. We just watched a YouTube video where it talked about how people, or something about hating on younger people, which obviously the millennials are it right now. But really, the generations are different from each other. But it always seems that the generations before are the ones in power during the time when the things that are going on are actually being affected by the younger generations.
Yeah, I think they fear a bit of what the new generation will change, just as much as. Back in our day, we had. I'm trying to think what's one of the biggest memes of our generation. I know
memes
for me,
weren't really a big thing though for us.
Yeah, baggy pants. That was a big one that affected people, and I guess in my area.
That's not meme.
It's a harmless act. But yeah, scary people. They look scary. So,
things are constantly changing. They're constantly moving, and we're a society that has been really we've boomed from those kind of changes, and yet somehow we still fear them.
So, let me just redeem myself for the saggy pants, because people may be thinking a certain way, but I think it's ridiculous that people would look scary for wearing saggy pants. That's what I was going with that.
I mean, it's the tattoos have always been seen as scary. Piercings are scary. There are a lot of things that used to be deemed as scary and might still even be considered scary, but they're really not that scary. But either way. So that is our top 5 for the negative side of techie kind of news.
Putting down the 2018 bad for the rest of the year.
Yes.
No more bad. We're done with it. It's been purged.
There's only one. Well, there's only today left when you're listening to this. So that's it for 2018. But now we want to highlight the our top 5 for 2018 of things that we feel like, were good.
Yeah. And this was a hard list to construct.
It was. It was hard to find.
And for anybody who's also tried to make a list, I definitely feel your pain. It was difficult.
The positive side.
Yeah.
Actually, we even came across an article where it said like 2018 was just really crappy for IT. You're like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It really does seem so.
There's so many angles I could continue to complain on, but let's not do that. We want to move, and I'm pretty sure like everybody else who's listening, they want to move into the positive area this year. We are done. We want to just remember the good points as we exit this year.
Yep. So that's why we are ending on the positive. I know a lot of times, like you see these best and worst, and you almost always see the best first and the worst last. But yeah, we feel like we want to end on the positive.
Exactly.
So
starting us off at number 5.
Yeah, on our positive list, I'm actually going to like move this around. So for us, the IGTV launched this year.
Oh, yeah.
And, and I feel like that is a very big positive movement.
I was super jazzed about it. We even made a little video for us for a couple podcasts.
Using our Ring.
Which I thought, it was basic, but it was really cool to me.
Yeah.
It was very fun to do.
Our Ring was new at that time to us, too. So it was kind of like, ooh, we get to test out 2 new things at the same time.
Let's post a video. I'll do a video using my Ring cam, and then I'll post it to this new platform, IGT. Oh, it's going to be so weird. But
I mean,
I was right. It was weird.
Obviously, we still haven't quite seen where it's going to develop from here. But the fact that they launched it is a big thing. It's a new platform for them. And
they
Instagram
launched it having the users that Instagram already has, which is tons.
Yeah.
And then they instantly flipped them over to a video platform.
Yeah.
Now, that's not an edge that Google received or many other call it video media websites have. But to have that audience just ready and available, maybe they can give YouTube a run for their money because they do need some competition. It's hard to see, but, with apps like TikTok and mobile apps are definitely on the rise.
Facebook has their Facebook Watch.
Yes. So, I'm really optimistic on what they could do with it. So I'm kind of rooting for the IGT team, and I hope they got big things coming for us.
Yep. So that is number 5. So number 4, we are going to go to the Google AI tricks human live on stage.
Oh my goodness! You saw this though?
Yes, I did. You showed me.
I made sure. Again, another one I was super jazzed for. Now, what I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm talking like first on this, but this is like stuff that just like it's a techie inside of me that just likes to talk about this stuff. But
you're the extrovert of us too.
Yeah, that's very true. So you see the guy from Google on stage, and he's talking about
they did this at the Google's I/O conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was it was like they were just introducing like a new feature, like now your texts send through teleportation, and it's like it was very casual way they say it, though teleportation is kind of how they do work in a way, but teleporting through the landline. But
okay, off top.
I know. I just keep going. But the way they kind of nonchalantly called someone for ordering pizza, and they had the AI.
No, it was like a haircut.
It was a haircut, yes. The order and the main appointment, and no other human on one end, just a human on the other end. That bridges a big gap in AI to human technology of actually kind of having a way of communicating and, yes, tricking a human.
Yeah, usually we can tell when it's like a robot that we're talking to because they're very proper. They use exact... they don't talk like a person. We stutter, that sort of stuff.
I stutter very heavily.
But but it's a part of we have to stop and think.
It's human.
Yeah, we have to stop and think and and then formulate these words and then say them where the computer, doesn't. They just have it all.
I try.
So anyhow, the fact that they were able to create an AI that was then able to simulate the human speech, the way that we actually communicate with each other, it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, please do see it. The conference was you don't have to see the whole conference.
No,
just this part. Just this part. It has some of the fun stuff in it, but just this part. But it was nice when they asked the question and the robot literally goes, and that was it. There wasn't like a phrase that came after that. It was just, I was like, I'm looking at, And that was the AI, kind of responding in a kind of a human tone or how one would speak. And that was, that blew my mind a little bit. So I think that was awesome. Little bit of awesomeness 2018.
That
and
was pretty cool.
What else was awesome? What else was awesome?
Well, number 3 on our list is that Amazon opened up an Amazon Go store, which if you don't know, they opened it up in Seattle, I believe. Yeah. And, it pretty much is just kind of like a convenience store or a mini like grocery store. But it has no cashiers and no registers. It's all done digitally, and they use like hundreds of cameras. And pretty much you can walk into the store, you can pick out the things that you want, and then you walk out the store and it charges you for it.
This is a store for Amazon account. This is a store for introverts. This is
I don't have to deal with anybody. Yes. Great idea.
I just need to get some ice cold pizza. You walk in, grab your ice cold pizza, you walk out. That's the end of that sentence. That's how you get it.
And the crazy part is, too, you don't have to scan anything. Yeah. Like, it's already done. I mean, like, if you think about it, when we go to the store, it is so redundant, everything that we do. We go and we pick things off and we put it in the car. We walk around and we keep doing this. And then, we put things back or whatever. Then eventually we go stand in line and then we get up to, we take out all this stuff out of our cart and we put it onto this, conveyor belt thing. And then it gets all scanned through, and then it gets put into bags and then we put it back into our cart. I mean, isn't it really cool to think that like all you have to do is like you grab it off the shelf and you put it into a bag in your cart and off you go and you're done.
Think about the times, and everybody can relate to this. The time you ran out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
You ran out of toilet paper. Now, hopefully you did not need at the exact moment, but you ran out of toilet paper and you have to go to the store to pick up some more. Toilet paper is, it's not exactly like an uncommon item. Everybody needs to use it. But then again, you're not proudly beholding your toilet paper. You just want to grab it and go. Simple as that. Or there's other private products. You need to buy underwear. You need to buy condoms. You need to buy many different things out there. And just not having that other person behind there makes it a little bit more relaxing to buy those personal products.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, too, that these kind of stores can then be open 24 hours, 7 days a week, even like on Christmas, without inconveniencing or having to take people away from their families or anything like that, and so I think that's a huge thing, too.
And could you imagine, like, you being a thief, you go into the store, you think,
you have hundreds of cameras watching you.
I'm just picturing like this guy just like grabbing stuff off the shelf, just packing it up, just loading up his cart, and then he runs right out and he gets like $1 million.
But the thing is, like, there has to be like some where I think the way it is that you actually aren't allowed to be let into there unless you have to scan your Amazon account or something.
I did see that on the video.
Yeah. Yes, like, it's not like you could just walk in there with no Amazon account and then take everything out and not get charged. I would imagine, in a way it may be a little evasive, but they would try, some way to try to identify, and who knows what they would do. With hundreds of cameras, I'm pretty darn sure they got your face.
Exactly. Like, oh wait, this is a guy in a ski mask, or if you're not wearing a mask, it's like, oh, facial recognition. Oh, go build that guy. Yeah, we know exactly who he is. Yeah. He's right down the street.
Anyhow, I think that's pretty cool. And, and with Amazon having purchased Whole Foods this year, too, I think it was this year.
Yeah. A big thing in our area.
Yeah. I'm pretty darn sure they're going to take the things that they're learning from this Amazon Go store and implementing it.
There are improvements that are needed, but there's improvements needed everywhere. Yeah. Us included.
So anyhow, number 2.
All right.
That's this one. We're going to do. Yeah. So for our number 2 on good list, Associated Press named their Entertainer of the Year, and it was Netflix.
I mean, that's jazzy just because. Sorry, jazzy may be a weird term. It's jazzy.
I mean, Netflix beat out all these different celebrities, huge celebrities, and I think that's pretty cool. They
are. I mean, I'm really. We cut the cord. We're done with cable.
Years ago.
Yes. So and one thing I think that is important for people like us
before it was like a trend too.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember Googling like cutting the cord and all this, and it's like
many of millennials are cutting their cords. Like, it's not just millennials. It's not just millennials. It's people who like to save money.
My parent. Well, no, yeah. Either way, so So yeah, no, I think it's really cool. But yeah, like, I mean, and Netflix was, back in the day with Blockbuster.
Oh my God,
Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix, but they didn't.
I mean, how about a story of that? There's this huge store, and I'm not sure if you guys are some, let's say some 1980s kids out there, early 90s kids out there. Blockbuster was at everybody's corner, and they had several corners around there. It was a different type of McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And this juggernaut had the option to purchase Netflix. And back in his day, it didn't seem all that crazy. I mean, it did seem small. You can order DVDs online. They'll send it to you.
Yep.
I think the streaming came afterwards
yeah, no, they're streaming. Yeah, they didn't start off with the streaming. They started off with the DVDs part. Exactly.
They slowly grow, and Blockbuster's gone, and they are now Entertainer of the Year.
Yep.
And for good reason. They have been putting and working really hard on some crazy and yet solid
yeah, I mean, they're content. A lot more than just, you can go and get a DVD off of there, or you could stream things, but they also create their own originals. They've been like freaking like doing a ton of them.
Oh, if you
can't keep up with them.
They keep putting out new content, and I mean, and some is really good. And what I love about it is they're not just putting out content. Or let's say like you're watching Fox of the channel, or name your other channel. Most of the content has some kind of general relationship to each other. You got the singing shows, you got your detective shows, and rinse, wash, and repeat. Many different shows that are very similar.
Yeah, I mean, if you go watch HGTV, you know what you're going to be watching, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So whereas with Netflix, I mean, you've got everywhere from movies to TV shows to anime to horror to
documentaries.
Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, and also that with the if I could recommend something for Netflix, even though I'm not sponsored and would love to be Netflix, shout out. If I could recommend something, there is a documentary out there, and I didn't think this was going to be interesting, but it kept me entertained like it was an action movie, and it was about when you go to park your car and have someone that you pay them and you can park in their parking area. It was a movie just about those guys. Those guys, you just kind of, you put your car in their garage, you give them like $5, and then you leave it there. And it's a very nice, entertaining, very interesting story. I highly encourage you to watch it. It's a way of kind of seeing how, the other side is.
See, now, like, I went and I had to get Netflix for a certain amount of time because I had to watch The House on Haunted Hill. Everybody kept freaking talking about it. So I'm like, I've got to watch this. I love horror stuff, so that was really cool.
She pulled me over to go watch a freaking jump scare. Now, okay, Xavier's...
Because it was an awesome jump scare. Okay,
I
if anybody's seen it...
She is right.
It's the time when the sisters are arguing.
No, spoil it.
I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
But it's the time, if they'll know, when the girls are arguing, the sisters are arguing as adults in the car... That jump scare, I had to show him.
that was legit cool. It's not cool. I mean, I don't like getting scared. That's not my thing.
He is not a horror person whatsoever.
I went to see what movie. What was it? It was It Follows.
Oh yeah,
It Follows is not a good movie, and it's not a scary film. Yet the entire time, I also like to wear baseball hats to these movies. I don't normally wear them, but I wore it that day. I tilt my hat, really, really down, just kind of like peeking up and just trying to glance at it. And had two solid scare moments, but I can definitely say that it's definitely not my appeal. That was torture. But
well, it wasn't very good, and I love horror movies and TV shows and stuff. So either way, so that was pretty cool for us.
Yeah.
And so to end off our top 5 good, and to end off the whole top 10 thing for us this year for 2018.
We say this number 1 is very personal.
Yes, it is. I mean, we'll start it off with what it is. So this year for us, we launched the A Couple podcast.
Yeah.
It happened in May, around there.
May-ish. If we're wrong, feel free to correct us. It's fine. This journey had began way before.
Yes, definitely.
This was an idea.
Yeah, I mean, we did one of our very beginning, definitely first 5.
We just tried it, tested out, just put a microphone, and we tried to have a conversation, and like we normally have conversations. Everybody talks.
Yeah.
And what I love is just like, sometimes we really, and a lot of other people have those moments too. When you have that like really good conversation, I really wish I could have told more people about that.
Yeah.
Or like, people were looking at this on the news, but no one talked about this thing. And we want it to be that. Actually put that out there.
Well, everybody has their. They see things differently than somebody else. That's why we have so many opinions out there, so many different opinions. And so I feel like
different. We have very different opinions.
Well, even from each other.
Yeah.
We're married to each other, but we're very, very different, and we see things in a very completely different way. But a lot of times we end up actually agreeing, even when we don't realize we're agreeing.
Actually, I'm wondering, is this a thing that are we the weird ones, or do you have a relationship where you may go into an argument, but at the end of the argument, you finally settle down going like, wait, so we were agreeing the entire time? I
don't know. I feel like that is an unusual thing. Anybody I've ever talked to, they're like, wait, what? That sounds so odd to them.
Okay, here's
most of the time when people start an argument, they end it not talking to each other.
We have a way of describing it. Okay, so I need you to do this. Okay,
Shut up! I don't like you.
So what I did there is I took my finger and I just put it on my right cheek. My right cheek. My wife. Now, if you do this to someone else, you say, "Hey, you got something right there. Just wipe it off your face." They grab the opposing area. That's normally what happens. Yeah. No, she looks in her brain and says, "Oh, that's the right side of his face. I need to touch the right side." And the first time she did it, whoa! It blew my mind. I've never seen anybody do that before. Wait, did I raise the wrong hand? I'm pretty sure that what I did, my next movement after I touched my right cheek, is I lift up my left hand and I was like, wait, do I have it? Wait, what happened here? I swear it's on you, but you showed it on the other side. Did I break reality? What is going on? It was so yeah. We come to the same conclusion, but we come in from opposite corners often.
Yes, often.
Yeah, and we thought we want to bring
to the point where we're yelling at, or I'm mostly yelling at him because I'm so upset and so angry that he doesn't see my viewpoint, and then eventually we're like, wait, we were saying the same thing.
Yeah. Listen, up is not down, and down is not up. I know.
I have this conversation all the time with the arrows going when you're in a parking lot, and they have the arrows going towards the building. Man, I swear everybody's different. Is it toward the building up, or is it away from the building is up? I hate that.
And here's the thing too. We do have something I think that's very interesting in the world. I listen to a lot and I watch a lot because I have a high interest in IT. That may just be just the way I'm going to be forever. I've had it early on to where I was breaking my computers with VCRs. You know what I'm talking about. That were built into the TV and I would tear it apart to see the mechanical devices and stuff like that. And you probably heard the story before. And what I find that when I see a lot of people like me, they're a dime a dozen. We are a dime a dozen. You want to get some tech information? Just type in tech and you'll find 900 people ready to give you
way more than 900.
Yeah. Laura here is very interesting because she is on the social media side of it.
There's a lot of us too.
There is a lot.
We're a dime a dozen as well now.
Well, yes and no. They're from what I've seen, I like lynda.com. I like it. It's very interesting. It's the most boring social media. I'm sorry. I may not get sponsored now, but oh well. But they do not engage as well with their with when it comes to content, and you actually be passionate to the point.
They're meant to be a professional, site where you go learn new skills and things like that.
Yeah, but that's the beauty about putting out personal content is that you can break that barrier. I don't have to be beholden and speaking responsibly. This video was sponsored by Xavier from the It Couple. Please go download It Couple. Laura says you better do it now. And why'd you forget my name? So I don't have to. You don't hear that type of message from us as often.
Yeah, but we are trying to still figure out how to
grow in this direction. Yeah. And honestly, these last couple of weeks, and I'm just gonna put it out there. You can see it there. We have definitely increased with more people watching, and that has been a thrill to see.
And a lot more followers.
yes. And
we finally tipped over 1,000. I mean, we didn't even think we would reach 100 by the end of the year, let alone to 1,000.
Oh my God, yeah. And in case there's other people what do you mean 2,000 views? Well,
1,000. No, 1,000 followers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, 1,000 followers. But other people may be the one what do you mean 1,000 followers? I don't see any of that on my data. Well, we launch our stuff on Podbean.
Yes.
And this is kind of my shout out to them. And one of the ways you can reach out to us is through Podbean. Yep. It has a little instant messenger, just like any other app. They have
an app.
Yeah. Many of your favorite podcasters are right there too. And in case you're interested, I highly recommend them as an excellent way to get your foot into the door into this industry. And you want to know more information, you reach out to us. Because, you know what? We've had a journey. And we have a story to tell on that. And maybe one day we'll put an episode on that. But I'm a hold on that.
Well, we did, like, I was saying a little bit earlier, and I definitely said it in our first recording.
Yes.
But, you know, so for us, our first like 5 episodes or whatever, you know, one of those, a couple of those are about, like, there was a pre-launch one that we did. And then we also did like our process of starting the It Couple podcast. Those, you know, are our beginning ones, and those ones, you know, tell the story of why and, you know, how we started this. And, you know, and maybe at some point, you know, we'll do another one of like an update to it. Yeah.
Like, I learned how to make music for my intro. I learned how to use sound effects. I had to
editing audio,
clean up our audio, which, you know, our first episodes are rough. And thank you so much for holding on to that horse, because it was wild.
Well, yeah. And how many freaking microphones we've had to get.
Oh my goodness. We're going to do a podcast on old microphones. And just, you know, we watched a couple of reviews, just like everybody else does. And it's the time factor. It did work the first day. It maybe worked the second day. And we got pissed off the third day.
Yeah.
But that is it. That is it, number one. And I am extremely happy, you know, me personally, because I was the one that kind of really wanted this. And I kind of pushed my wife in this. But to have my wife next to me doing this podcast.
I'm in front of you.
In front of me. In front of me. But having my wife with me on this journey has been nothing more than a blessing. And it couldn't have been anything better this year. And
we needed a positive this year. And yeah, I mean, I will say this. I'm not the type of person that talks. Anybody who actually knows me and listens to this knows that I can be personable. I'm
the reason she's talking.
Yeah, like, no, I will not put myself out there whatsoever. Yeah, if you are a person I don't know, I don't walk up to you and say, "Hey," you know. So
she is the if you know the term IRL mute. She is good at that. She speaks far more fluent and responsible than I do, but she's,
I mean, if I need to speak, if I need to carry a conversation, certainly I can do that. I obviously, you're listening to me carry a conversation, you know, but I don't go find it, or like I don't go put myself in situations where I have to do that.
And this sounds very familiar. I know that many people also have those same anxieties too, and you know, and we had a couple episodes where we actually did talk about
my least favorite thing ever to do is public speaking, and this one, like, it took me a long time to record me because it brought on that same feeling that I would get when I would have to make a speech.
Okay, and this still happens now. When I know when I record back and I play back the audio, she runs out the room. I know I don't want to listen to it. When I do this now, when I go back and I start editing this,
I do not listen to our episodes at all.
She's gone. Yep. She's gone like the wind.
I don't like hearing myself. Like I don't know.
But I'm glad, because I know a lot of people like hearing you. And
I'm glad.
To end on a good note, for everyone who's listening, thank you so much for being on this ride.
Have a very safe and happy New Year.
Yeah, for any new people joining in, guys, welcome. We're an excellent community. You guys are going to be awesome.
You will hear more from us next year.
Exactly. And I'm going to leave you with a message here. One, we did something crazy by starting this, and I want you to do something crazy for 2019. I want you to do something that's going to make you proud, that you were scared to do, and put yourself out there. And if you can't do it, get your friend to push you, because you know what? We all need someone some days. And until next time, take it easy.
See ya!